awesome as I wanna be. Awesome as I wanna be. Awesome as I wanna be.
Hello every pony, I am Critical Thought and welcome to my review of Flutter Brutter. When the show needs major character development, who are they gonna call? Dave Rapp, apparently. After working on a couple of episodes for the hit CBS show Without a Trace, he wrote the important yet mediocre Season 6 episode Newbie Dash, and finally made Rainbow Dash a wonderbolt. Today, he shows us the relationship Fluttershy has with her family. Will Dave Rapp turn things around and start giving us good stories, or will he be unable to shed his former crime drama literary skin and continue to completely misunderstand MLP? Let's find out. We kick off this episode with Flutters and Rainbow sitting down to have lunch with Mr. and Mrs. Shy, Fluttershy's parents, at their home in Cloudsdale. This was the first time that we've seen Fluttershy's parents, and it makes Flutters the fifth pony of the main six to have her family officially revealed, right after Applejack, Rarity, Pinkie Pie, and Twilight respectively. Now all we need is Dashy's parents to be unveiled. People have speculated that this stallion with the rainbow mane is her dad, but it's never really been officially confirmed, and we've never seen Rainbow's mom at all. Also, I have a question. How are buildings not made of clouds able to exist in Cloudsdale? Like, wouldn't they just sink through the clouds? I can get Twilight's balloon not sinking because maybe it's light enough, but the architecture in this neighborhood makes absolutely no sense, but I guess the explanation is just magic. Mr. Shy tells Flutters that he is now retired, and he intends to spend his time quietly living his life, tending to his cloud collection while her mom tends to her flowers, and generally just being happy from now on. That's when the topic of Fluttershy's brother, Zephyr Breeze, comes up, and Flutter's parents nervously break the news to Fluttershy that he will be moving back in with them for a short time. Suddenly, Zephyr bursts in, much to the disdain of Fluttershy, as well as Rainbow Dash. Theme. Flutters then asks Zephyr why he left main therapy school, which is later revealed to have only started a few weeks ago. He says they didn't appreciate his artistry and wanted to stick to the same old styles, revealing a hideous abomination of a main style which Mr. and Mrs. Shy unwillingly praise.
Oh, this ought to be good.
Sorry, I shouldn't tease you. I know the whole super awesome flyer bit's just to impress me. Still, thanks for showing up for my homecoming. It's sweet.
That reaction. I gotta say, I really like Ryan Beal's performance as Zephyr Breeze. I love how he portrays Zephyr as a mix of Prince Blueblood and a cool California surfer dude. Every line he delivers is just bursting with character, and it's also such a great contrast to the reserved and reclusive lifestyle of his parents and sister. After Zephyr starts redecorating and rearranging some furniture, Flutters pulls her parents aside and shares her concerns about Zephyr living with them, as it seems like every time he does, he takes advantage of them.
And they were all like, "We love your free spirit, Zeph, and it would be wrong to cage that. Go follow your dreams."
ZWTCIRD.
I know you weren't expecting to see your brother, but you've been kind of quiet, even for you.
I'm sorry, but I am just so peeved right now. Oh, excuse my language.
That was easily one of the best moments of comedy in the entire season right there. To have Fluttershy be the one to say the closest thing to a swear that this show will probably ever see was a hilarious choice, and the reaction from everyone on screen was just priceless.
She's a bit peeved.
You can't double whammy me in the face with comedy like that, Dave. That's when Applejack suggests to Fluttershy that she should stand up for her parents and their privacy if they won't do it themselves. To which Flutters agrees and heads back home just in time to see Zephyr trashing his dad's cloud collection and his mom's flower bed to make room for his art studio and meditation patio. This angers Flutters and she puts her hoof down, standing up to Zephyr, and telling her parents that he will never be able to live on his own if he can lean on them for support. Zephyr objects to this, saying he can do plenty on his own, but when Flutters suggests moving out, he gets nervous. Ultimately, Mr. and Mrs. Shy side with Flutters, leaving Zephyr feeling heartbroken. Unsure of where Zeph is going to go, Flutters returns home to Ponyville, only to be surprised when Zephyr Breeze barges through her front door and tells her he's moving in with her. Flutters reluctantly agrees to let Zeph room with her under the sole condition that he get a job. The next morning, which looks gorgeous on screen by the way, thank you art direction team, Flutters drags Zephyr to Carousel Boutique where she has already lined up a job for him with Rarity, knowing he wouldn't do it himself. Rarity gives him the task of dyeing some fabrics, but returns later to see the job completely botched, as Zeph has pawned the task off to some woodland creatures instead of doing it himself. Zephyr then tries to work for Twilight cleaning the castle windows, but ultimately tricks Spike into doing it instead. Flutters then signs him up to work with Dashy.
You don't have to come up with some excuse to hang out with me, Rainbows. Let's just go for a fly and see where the day takes us.
ZRWTCIRD. After also failing his job at Wonderbolt's HQ for Dashy, Zeph returns home to Fluttershy. Flutters has had enough. She kicks out Zephyr Breeze and he decides to go and live in the Everfree Forest. Later, when Dashy is helping Flutters clean up after Zeph, Fluttershy is obviously not proud of her decision and is upset about what she had to do to her brother. That's when Flutter's bird friend, Constance, tells her about the hard time Zephyr is having in the forest, and she goes to check up on him. That's when Zephyr shares the doubt in himself and feels like he can't do anything right, and that he doesn't try because he's afraid of failure. Fluttershy helps encourage him, saying that he can succeed if he just tries, and she also gives the moral for this episode. Sometimes, you have to try and give it your all, even if you might fail. This is one of the better morals I've seen the show put out over the years. I know that I can personally relate a lot to the character of Zephyr Breeze because I too have refused to try in a lot of situations in my life simply due to fear of failure, and I'm sure this is an issue that resonates with both kids and adults. Unlike the moral from Spice Up Your Life, the next episode in Season 6, this one works on multiple levels of maturity. For example, a kid might be afraid of failing at homework, while an adult might fear failing at being a parent. In both instances, the moral works flawlessly to remind both age groups about the importance of persistence and self-confidence. Looks like Dave Rapp has once again delivered a pretty great moral. Next, we move into a brand new song called I Can Do It On My Own, which is about overcoming your self-doubt and accomplishing things you can be proud of, as Zeph works on his main therapy technique. Out of all the duets I've heard in this show, I think Ashley and Andrea's performance on this song is the best. The two harmonize beautifully together, and this song sounds like something I can even see appearing in the top 40 Billboard charts. I think that's the major appeal for me with this piece. It stands so well on its own as a song that if nobody told you it was from MLP and the pony references weren't included, you'd think it's just a new hit song. The lyrics, while still slightly juvenile at times, are also outstanding, and the times where they are a bit kiddish don't stand out that much amongst the other great lyrics. If the music from A Hearthwarming Tale is my favorite in Season 6, this song doesn't trail too far behind.
Every pony has times in their lives when their hearts are filled with doubt. But if you just give it your all, you'll start to work it out.
And I know I can't give up too soon, get myself in the zone. And I find I can walk, then run, then fly. I can do it on my own.
You can do it on your own.
I can do it on my own. I can do it on my own.
Thanks for dinner, Mr. and Mrs. Shy. It was great as usual.
Thank you, dear, for not giving up on Zephyr. After all these years of pining for him, it must be so satisfying to see him on the right track.
I'm done. I'm so done. A+ comedy. We close out this episode with Zephyr returning from main therapy school as a graduate, thanking his big sister for helping him to believe in himself. So, what did I think of Flutter Brutter? It was certainly an improvement over Newbie Dash, I'll tell you that much. The plot, while simplistic and not super eventful, was still enjoyable due to the characters and more mature subject matter. I think Dave Rapp finally learned how to apply his storytelling style from his work on Without a Trace within the MLP mold, and boy does it work phenomenally. This certainly felt like an episode aimed at an older audience, but at the same time, it didn't alienate the target demographic. Also, the comedy. By God, the comedy was amazing! The sexual innuendos between Zephyr and Rainbow, as well as Fluttershy's semi-swearing, were bold to attempt, but had a fantastic comedic payoff. The song was also present with that signature Daniel Ingram quality we come to expect, perhaps cranked up even higher than usual in this instance. Honestly, between the top-notch comedy and the song, these things alone warrant this episode's rewatch it rating. But the rest of it, including that fantastic moral, is also worth seeing again and again. As always, I am Critical Thought, and I will see you all in my next video. Never stop thinking critically.